Hello, welcome to the Bubby Brister and Friends Fantasy Football Podcast presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Bubby's not here, but we're his friends. We're filling in for him. My name is Billy. I'm here with Nick. We'll be covering our fantasy football league that we've been in for 16 years with 11 other
16
people.
years?
Yeah, we'll be covering the NFL and other related fantasy football news. I'm a Commanders fan. Nick, who's your favorite team?
The Fighting Commanders, huh? I am a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, and no, I am not the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan that jumped on when Brady showed up. I was back in the dark days, the Sean King, the Brad Johnson, the Tim Tay, Brian Greasy, Chris Sims, Josh Freeman. Yeah, the dark times. Yeah, I was from around way back then. But yeah, love Tampa Bay Buccaneer stuff like that, and exciting year with the quarterback controversy. You got let Baker bake and Tampa Bay. It's Baker Bay now, I guess. So we're excited to see how it's going to turn out. My early predictions for him is 27 touchdowns, eight. I'll say under 10 picks because he is a gunslinger, but he's not going to go too crazy. A lot of bootleg, power run, and Buccaneers will be 10-7.
Wow, you were very optimistic for them this year.
Look,
I
we weren't a bad team last year, okay? We were boring to watch. We were just boring to watch. Brady was literally a statue. He was Rob Johnson last year. All right. He stood in the pocket. He got sacked. That's all he did. It was ridiculousness. And Byron Leftwich, he turned to Byron Leftwich mid-season and he couldn't run, escape. He's got sacked every play. So I got sick of it, whatever. In the defense, we would lose games close. And we won games close. Like, we come on now.
I
How you
love
gonna
me
attempt?
some I love me some Byron Leftwich. Did he get another job?
No. Oh, that's a good question. He got picked up somewhere. I don't know. I think he's in. No, I don't know where he's at. That's a good question. He did get picked up though. I think he got picked up. I think he's like a assistant, like an assistant offensive coordinator. He's not the big dog anymore, but I think he got picked up because I think somebody picked him up. A lot of jobs moved around, switched around this year. Yeah, Brian Flores got a job. He's a defensive coordinator for a team now. There's a lot going on in the NFL this year. This year, fantasy wise, I would say is probably the most helter skelter year for a seat in my life because it's just us all over the place.
Do you like Todd Bowles? I think he's a terrible coach.
I think that's a bad opinion.
We'll find out.
He's not a bad coach. The problem is that he's a defensive coaches, and defensive coaches, unless you're Bill Belichick and you have Tom Brady, okay, or you're the Steelers head coach and he had um, what's it, Ben Roethlisberger. You just look bad because you just have no offense. Rex Bryan was a good head coach. Problem, he had Mark Sanchez. Like, what do you want?
He took him to two AFC championship games.
Correct, because he was able to cook. You know what I mean? And then Todd Bowles, head coach of the Jets, and he turned in a really good defense. The offense had no running back. His quarterback situation was bad. They drafted Sam Darnold. That's just bad times. So, what do you want to do?
Can you believe Sam Darnold is the 49ers backup over Trey Lance?
It's a tough situation, San Fran. I
Eh,
can. I can. I don't want to believe it, and I'm not okay with it, but I believe it.
I can't believe it. I also can't believe Brock Purdy is starting over two number 3 overall draft picks.
I am. Call me. I'm the pessimist because the wheels are about to fall off on Brock Purdy this year. Brock Purdy is not Tom Brady 2.0. I'm sorry. Okay, this guy, he looked very vanilla last year. The Niners' offense was just really great, and their defense is really great. So if you just be a game manager, throw the ball where it needs to go, you're all right. This year, it's going to be a lot of film on him. I am selling stock on Brock
The
Purdy
injury.
start on fantasy wise. I'm sorry. Sam Darnold is going to end up
Can you
starting a game because remember they said he's Steve Young. You call him Steve Young. Head coach call him Steve Young.
can you believe that Alex Smith got 4 years to work out his troubles with the 49ers and Trey Lance got 4 games?
In
Remember how bad
fairness,
Alex Smith was?
Alex Smith though wasn't one of his his head coaches was Nolan. Was Nolan one of his
And Mike
coaches,
Singletary.
and then Mike Singletary. So two defensive. See how that works? Two defensive coaches, and then Alex Smith couldn't make it work. And he had Urban Meyer in Utah. Number one national championship. Good, fine. He went to the Chiefs, and even Alex Smith got thrown to the side by a first round draft pick, Mahomes. So it's weird. You know what I mean? And it's a shame. Shout out to Alex Smith, man. We love Alex Smith here. He had a great career. Shame how it went down. Isn't he a commentator now? Isn't he like doing game calling now?
Yeah, he works for ESPN. I think he does like Countdown.
Okay. You know what I mean? His career and the way it ended, it was tough. It was tough.
Did you see that
the broken leg?
That ESPN documentary? I forget what it's called, but they detailed his surgery and his comeback.
No, I did not.
Oh, it's so good. They show his leg like mid surgery. It looked like a shark bite.
Christ. Terrible.
But we have our fantasy draft this Sunday. If you got the number 1 pick, you're on the clock. What are you going to do?
It's Jefferson's the first one off the board. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
All right. It's just what it is. Jefferson is Jerry Rice. He is that guy. He's not even 25. He's not even 25, and this guy is an absolute monster.
On a bad team that has to throw with a quarterback who can fling it.
Kirk Cousins says, "Where is number 18? I'm gonna throw the ball in his direction, and he'll get it." There it is.
I do not want a high draft pick. I usually like drafting like 6, 7, or in that range. But for some reason, the last couple of years, I keep getting like top 3 draft picks. It drives me nuts.
I'm getting the exact opposite. I'm getting the bottom half. I either get like pick number 14, so I have to pick back to back. So I gotta figure out my whole draft strategy. All right, I'm gonna get 2 good wide receivers, and my running back situation per my entire fantasy career essentially has been garbage. And it's just garbage. And it's gonna be garbage again. Especially with this running back apocalypse we're in the middle of right now. It's sad times.
Perfect timing, because I was just about to say to you, if we were drafting 20 years ago and I had a top 3 draft pick, I'd be all about it when you could draft LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yep.
Priest Holmes. Like, you got
Curtis
one of those
Martin,
top running backs. Yeah, you had a ticket.
Corey Dillon. Every team had a running back. The Bucks had Warrick Dunn or Mike Alstott. You just had running backs all over. And now it's the running back by committee has, well, first it kind of like it was okay, but now they're not trying to pay running backs. Running backs are feeling sort of way that they're not getting that generational wealth that the quarterbacks are.
It's gone too far too, because now teams are even using like a third running back. So it was bad enough when it was 2. And I used to love watching a running back take over the game, like a Jerome Bettis or an Emmitt Smith. That's not happening anymore.
No, I think there's some elements to this though. I would say that one thing you got to think is that defensive linemen, defensive players in general, are way bigger and faster now than they were 20 years ago. So a guy running at you that runs a 4.5, 260 pounds, and just hits you with all his might, and you weigh 200, whatever, and you get smacked. Yeah, you're going to take maybe 15 carries this game because you're not going to 25 carry this thing because you're going to be dogged out. You know what I mean? So the athletes hitting them or destroying them, but also like I said, using 3 is like crazy. And I think, and you have to have a running back that's well versed, that able to catch and block, because the passing game is so serious. You have to block, and running back and blocking is an art in his own right.
If you're a parent of a kid who wants to get into football and the coach wants them to play running back, do you try and steer them to maybe wide receiver or cornerback or maybe another sport entirely?
I steer them to baseball or soccer. Welcome.
I'm glad you said
soccer.
Baseball. I'm really glad you said baseball, because this has come up on our Bird Notice podcast a couple times where prominent black baseball players like Ken Griffey Jr. and do you remember Charles Johnson, the catcher for the Marlins?
Yeah.
So Griffey's son went into football. Charles Johnson's son is currently on the Broncos as a wide receiver.
Huh.
How does baseball get those great athletes back?
Well, it's harder to get it back because those athletes, or you would, as we're, let's just say the big word out loud, those black athletes,
Mm-hmm.
it's harder to get it because usually those inner city kids and stuff like that, playing baseball costs money.
Yeah.
It costs money. Where football, you give me a football, and that's it. You buy the store for like $15, and you could just sling it around and you just throw it around, and that's it. You don't need pads and all that stuff to be great at it. Baseball, you need a glove, you need a bat, you need batting gloves, you need now you need a backpack to do. You need cleats, you need this, you need that, and then it's hard to pick up because then baseball players are legit real athletes. Hand-eye coordination is serious. Barry Bonds is one of my favorite players of all time. He was a jerk, but my man could hit the ball, and he was a Gold Glover outfielder. And my man, his hand-eye coordination, and I love talking about Tony Gwynn as well because Billy will tell you I always throw him tweets about Tony Gwynn's stats because it's always amazing how he was an amazing baseball player and he was fat. So I respect it hand in hand with him, but it's hard to bring him back. The Cincinnati Reds player,
Hunter Green,
no,
the pitcher.
no, he's the
Oh,
third
Ellie De
baseman.
La Cruz.
Yes, he's an absolute monster. You know, switch hitter, strong arm, and everything else. He's a unicorn. So it's tough. It's tough, man. And it's just you have to put them back in America. Just American pastime football. People love it's football now. You see the publicity football get compared to baseball. It gets in the seats, so people say they want to play.
One of my favorite dudes in all of sports right now is the Orioles center fielder Cedric Mullins, and yeah, he's phenomenal. But like even Barry Larkin's son Shane, he went to the NBA. Darryl Strawberry's son, I remember, got a college basketball scholarship. So hopefully,
I mean, basketball ain't bad either. If you play basketball, you can make money too. Basketball players are making really good money.
the problem with basketball though is there's only 12 spots on a team. Like, and
Right.
then another problem with baseball is you got to go to the minor leagues for 3 years, sometimes 4 years.
If you're really good, you get out in a year, maybe less than that. If you're on a bad team, if you're on a bad team, they ship you out.
Football, you have an easier chance to make it because there's counting practice squad stuff. There's 60 spots on a roster, but the problem
Correct.
is your careers are only going to last like 4 years on average.
Unless you're a quarterback, and then that's where you have to play the. Are you a pocket passer or are you the runner? Is Deion Sanders' son that's going to play for Colorado, who is a dual threat quarterback who could run and who could throw the ball? Is he going to be a first round draft pick, and will he play at least 15 years? You know what I mean? Because we're seeing Russell Wilson, who is considered a dual threat, right? And he's probably the oldest of the dual threats in the NFL right now, who could run a little bit, but he don't really run too much anymore. And he runs slow. Lamar is getting up there. He's in his first contract. You know what I mean? Will Lamar get to a second contract? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to tell. Where people are already saying Herbert's the guy, and my man's not even 25 yet. He's the guy. Burrow's the guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wait a minute, because they're pocket passers, and that's why.
So, would you call Blaine Gabbert a bust?
Ugh.
He obviously is,
No.
right? But he's also
No.
been in the league for like 11 years now.
Correct. And he has a Super Bowl ring as well. He has a ring as a backup for the Bucs.
Yeah.
So would you consider him a bust? No. Because even like I get it. Is he a bust? The only reason why you'd put the bust name on him is because he was drafted high. You know what I mean? He was drafted on a Jaguar team that had no talent for him. They had no talent. Zero. Because that was after MJD was gone. Fred Taylor was gone. You know what I mean? I don't even remember his running backs. Who was his running back on that team?
Yeah, I have no idea.
He had no help. He had no help. It wasn't even Saxonville. They were like, all right, this is the guy, and good luck, you know, and then they shipped him out.
It's like Kwame Brown. Like he was a number 1 overall draft pick, and he was a bust. But he played 10 years in the
All
NBA.
right. No. Kwame Brown is a bust. All right, this is
Same
different. This is
difference.
this. No. It's different. It's different. It's different.
Is
It's
this our
different for
first fight?
kinda. This is our disagreement. All right, look, Kwame Brown is a bust. All right, unfortunately, he is. All right, is Kwame Brown better at basketball than I am? Hell yes, day and night he is. So let's just get it straight. He's an NBA player. Okay, that's how it works.
I
However,
watched a lot of his rookie year with the Wizards because that was when Jordan came back, and I had just
and
moved
Jordan
here.
ruined him. Jordan ruined him. Right? So then all of a sudden you're like, all right, we'll give you a pass. We're giving you a pass. Now you're playing with Kobe on the Lakers. And you're still not that good, dude. You're with Kobe. You should at least be averaging 15 points a game. At least. Because you can't teach his height. Was he 6'10"?
Yeah. Technically, he was traded for Pau Gasol.
Yeah. So then they spun it into a great player. They fleeced somebody else. You know what I mean? There was actually a trade today. Was it the Cardinals traded with the Giants and got Isaiah Simmons? The Giants fleeced Arizona. Like they didn't give up a second round draft pick for the guy.
Cardinals are gonna be a disaster.
They're already on the clock. They're on the clock. What's that? They picked up Dobbs. They picked up Dobbs.
Yeah, I saw that too. Have fun with that.
So they're already on. So they're on the clock. That's it.
Poor James Conner. James Conner is going to get run into the ground this fantasy season. Who's the top running back on your board? You got the third pick. Someone took Jefferson. Someone took Cooper Kupp. You're up.
I would get. Give me the Chargers running back.
Eckler. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Eckler, because he protects himself. He's fit. He runs out of bounds, and he doesn't have really a hit of injuries. Or if I'm feeling saucy, I might go King Henry because you know what, he's
relatively safe.
Right, he's safe. You know the team's going to run the ball, and he's going to get carries. He'll work. They'll workhorse him again, and they'll be fine. So I think he would be for me. Christian McCaffrey to me is a sell. I would sell him. I wouldn't want Christian.
He's on my do not draft list after he burned me 2 years in a row. I don't care how good he was last year. He's on my do not draft list. If I take him this weekend, it's because I was pinned against a wall. We made a running back scoring change this year. We always did 1 point for every 5 carries, but because of the decline of running backs, we've made it. What do we do? We made 2 points for every 5 carries.
Correct.
Do you think that'll make you draft a running back any sooner, or that's not enough of a difference? It's not enough of a difference for me.
Not enough for difference, but I think it make it so that the good running backs will be good. It'll create like there's good and there's bad running backs. Because right now, the way the NFL is right now, dude, come on, man. Even like Josh Jacobs just said today that he's back. He signed a 1-year deal and he's back. So you got him, Saquon, Austin Eckler, essentially playing for like 1-year deals. You know, these are like the top running backs. They want McCaffrey money. It's tough. It's tough, and I don't trust him. I just don't. I don't trust it. Not with the throwing league that we are now.
Yeah, it was bad enough when they went to 2 running backs, and now teams are working in a 3rd running back. There's no way around it. I know I'll be taking quarterback a lot higher this year than I have in the past. I used to always just wait around and end up with like Kirk Cousins.
I don't know. Like it's an interesting strategy because I think I might wait around quarterbacks too. Because is the top tier quarterback scoring as bad? Like if you're like top 10, right? So average fantasy leagues are 10, not our bastardized 13 person league. Yeah, you know, top 10 quarterbacks. There's top 10 quarterbacks. There's 10 quarterbacks that are good. There's 32 teams. You can at least get value. You know what I mean? The problem is that you'd have to draft faster if people start drafting 2 quarterbacks early. You're like, whoa. But that's suicidal, homicidal bull.
Yeah, so you mentioned that we are bastardized with 13 teams. It's because we went up to 14 last year. we decided that's too many. So somebody quit, and we decided not to replace them. So we're in a transition to where we're not going to replace anybody until we work our way back down to 12. So, are you excited about the bye weeks that we're going to have to endure this season?
I mean, the only positive I would take out of that is I have a week where I don't have to stress about football as much. I don't gotta
Mm-hmm.
look at the scoring. I just like look at the overall scoring. Am I getting points? Am I earning money this week or not? Beyond that, just check the waiver wires, keep it pushing. So, and with 13 teams, it at least frees up some roster spots, some more players that we could obviously draft. So that's good.
Yeah, you're right. The good news is you don't have to stress. There's no way you can lose. You're still accumulating points. You're still eligible to win the weekly high points, which is $40. You mentioned the extra roster spot. Last year we tried no tight end. I think me and you were the only two people who liked it. I got rivers and rivers of tears from everybody saying how much they missed the tight end, even though they refused to play any of them or pick them up off the waivers. There's pretty much only
And
three
that
or
is
four
such
rostered the
a
entire season.
that's so shitty because if people they don't understand, like, is there five good tight ends in the league for real? And top of mind, you got Darren Waller,
Tops.
tops, right? You have Darren Waller, Kelsey, Andrews, and after that, Dalton Schultz was good, but now he's the Texans, so you can't trust it anymore. The Jets, no, they don't have one at all. Patriots have Henry, who's nobody. Sorry, Henry.
Hawkinson.
Hawkinson's gone. I think the guy that used to be a Miami Dolphin guy, he got traded to a new team, so he's not gonna get any.
I think he's on the Patriots. Just
Yeah, he's not.
Gesicki.
Good job. He's not. Sorry, he's not getting any. So Dolphins got no tight end either. The Bucks ain't got one. Carolina got one. Falcons have Pitts, who gets hurt every year. Um,
Always overdrafted.
Overdrafted and gets hurt every year. The Saints, Jimmy Graham's running in traffic. Cowboys have nobody. Eagles have nobody. It's just I'm just rifling it off. Seattle's never had anybody. You know what I mean? The
No.
Niners have Kittles. All right, so you have Kittles, but he's been on decline because last year he wasn't as good as he has
And he's now
been
buried.
with way
Like
too
they
much
have so
talent.
many weapons now. Yeah.
Way too much talent and a quarterback who is. I'm sorry, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer.
Yeah, speaking of the 49ers quarterback situation, Trey Lance was traded to the Cowboys yesterday. Somehow Brock Purdy beat out two number 3 overall draft picks in Darnold and Trey Lance. Do you wish the Buccaneers would have taken a flyer on Trey Lance?
Absolutely not. No, 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 no. No, because I think with the Bucks, we have Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield, and they've been there learning the playbook. If one of them got hurt, then I would have said yes. But with them not getting hurt and they're both healthy and they play pretty similar to each other, Kyle Trask more of a check down game manager, quote unquote. That's not to speak bad of him, but he's not like Baker, who Baker's like, I have a great arm. Look at how far I can throw it, and I'm gonna fit it every angle I could possibly do it, a la Brett Favre or Jay Cutler. You know what I mean? So no, 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 no. I think he should have went somewhere else. I would like him to go to the Rams, maybe go with the offensive coordinator. Going to Dallas to be buried behind Dak Prescott and all the picks he throws is not fun. Um,
Cooper Rush did well last year, too, in the chance he got. He didn't light up
yeah,
the passing yard stats or anything, but they won games, and that matters more than fantasy football.
but at the same time, like he literally last year he played one game and it was a parental downpour against the Bears. It was like terrible visibility, and he broke his leg. Next game he broke his leg, like, and that was it. So it's like the
Yeah.
Niners could have had so Niner fans were kicking themselves in the butt because they gave away a lot of picks to trade a guy before the 5th-year option. That's just terrible. Not even
I
5 starts.
Yeah, I give them credit. Like if they truly were just like, this guy's got to go, we're done with him. I give them credit for pulling the plug instead of like keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. But yeah, it's a bad look. Just bailing on a number 3 overall pick after what 4 or 5 starts? 5 starts.
Yeah, and it's
Yikes.
going to get really bad if the Niners don't make the Super Bowl and win. If they get knocked out this year again without making the Super Bowl, John Lynch, they're gonna start looking at you, GM, because you're not piecing it together. You know, you're getting players because now you have to pay them now, and that's the problem. You could ride along as much as you can, but NFL's always said maximize the opportunities you have before you have to play. You have to pay your big time players, and now he's gonna put us in a situation where Bosa's gonna want money. Eventually Brock Purdy's gonna enter his third year. He's gonna want a contract extension because he's paid nothing. It's charity work from being there.
So our league has a unique option, the head coach option that got voted in a long time ago now. It has changed the way we play fantasy football. It's plus 10 points if you have a winning head coach, negative 10 points if you have a losing head coach. You are not required to play a head coach. You could just take the 0 and see what happens. You don't even have to roster one. You can roster an extra running back, wide receiver, whatever. I would love to hire the Elias Sports Bureau to do a study on how many games the head coach is affected in our league. What's your strategy for the head coach?
It all depends on how I feel my draft is going. If my draft is going sideways, if Billy is sniping my draft picks right before I get drafted them, like he usually does at least 3 times a year, and I'm struggling, I'm gonna find a good quarterback. A good coach. You talk about the Niners. Back in the day, used to be Patriots. Belichick was good for a good 140 points a year. So, and then 10 points add up sometimes. And a lot of times, if you're sitting there going that Monday night and you have a toss-up game, where it's that sad Monday night game of Jacksonville versus Arizona, and nobody picked up their head coaches, and you're like, I'm already down by 7. I might as well, because either if they lose, I just lose. It becomes a pick 'em, and you have a chance of getting it. So why not?
It's almost better to lose like that than to, because I like to keep the head coach in my back pocket. I'll look ahead and see who's playing Monday night and grab that head coach just to see if I need him or not. And if the game is too close to call, that head coach can mess you up. That's a 20-point swing if your opponent wins with their head coach and you lose with your head coach. It could be a disaster.
Yeah, and
there's a movement. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow because it was totally avoidable. Also, you weren't required to play one anyway.
Right.
There's a movement in fantasy football by a bunch of analysts and pundits called "Ban the Kickers." I personally like the kickers. I think fantasy football should reflect reality football. Kickers are wild cards in fantasy and reality football. Many games are decided at the end by a kick. How do you feel about banning the kickers?
I feel kickers' lives matters because it's you know what I mean. Like, come on now. Like, look,
they're people too.
Just tying in from our last subject, you're talking about kickers. People these teams when these games last minute. I'm plus 10. I'm really good, and all of a sudden, bam! The engineer drive kicker hits the game-winning field goal, and I go from being plus 10 to negative 10. I lost 10 points, and now I lose for the week by 5. It's tough money, but it's just the way it is. You have offense, you have defense, special teams, and special teams is a big deal. Kickers, they matter. These are the reaction of your DraftKings, your daily drafts, all stuff. People trying to perfect these perfect scores on pick'ems. I pick this team plus 3, minus 3, and all that. And because they can't predict these kickers, these teams are having bad special teams or kicker. I mean, think about it, all right? A lot of these games where the score is the kicker wins the game-winning field goal, typically that kicker in that game, if Elias Sports looks it up and says, well, how many kicks did that kicker actually kick during a game? Not just one kick. Chances are that kicker probably made 3 or 4, so he scored 12 points by himself to help the team out. Or, on the flip side, that kicker probably missed 3 or 4 kicks, like 2 or 3 kicks.
And extra points aren't give me anymore either. And the kickers, there's nothing better than getting that 20-point kicker week on your. It happens like once every leap year. You'll get that kicker.
God tier.
Gets that 22. Yeah, that's the best.
God tier.
I've been a Washington football fan now since like 2010, and they've been pretty terrible during the last decade. The only guy worth rostering was Dustin Hopkins, so I would just take him as my kicker to start the season at least. He was pretty much the only guy I could count on from Washington fantasy football purposes.
But now with Washington, now you got Slade. So, Sly. I think Sly or Slade. He's
Joey Sly.
Carolina. He was a Carolina Panther kicker for a bit. So
he's one of the Commanders. The Commander/Panthers, because Ron Rivera just anytime he needs somebody, hey, I got a hole here. Let's call one of my old Panther buddies.
Let me tell you what the Commanders, they look all right with Eric Bieniemy scoring. Not scoring, but actually calling the offensive play calls. I'm gonna give a little shout out to them. Just looking at it, I'm beginning to turn the side eye here to these Chiefs now. Because wait a minute, if Eric's making Washington like this, how the Chiefs gonna look like during the regular season? Because I know he's good. Like, look, I understand that Mahomes is great. However, if your offensive coordinator is not good, Andy Reid, he might not have the sauce like we think he is. Because he's always said Eric because the guy called the plays. He's always said it.
I never thought of that from that. I always thought the angle, like, because the Commanders are. It's a make or break year for Rivera, and Bieniemy had to basically bet on himself this year, so he had to take the Washington was like the last job standing. I never thought about if the Chiefs struggle without Bieniemy. That's a really good point, because they basically just gave the job back to Matt Nagy, who did nothing on his own after he went to the Bears or whatever. Like, I don't know how you could run the Bears offense into the ground when it was already been in the ground since like 1987.
Not Matt Nagy, man. Matt Nagy has failed as offensive coordinator with the Bears. We've seen the Matt Nagy show. I'm sorry.
So, have you bought Madden yet this year?
No. And I haven't bought Madden since 2015.
Yeah, I bought it every year. I might have missed 1 year, but I pretty much have bought it every year for the last 20 or so years. I haven't bought it yet this year. I don't plan on it. I wouldn't be surprised if I did. My PlayStation Plus membership is also expiring, so I have to factor that cost into, like, do I really want to pay, like, for a year of PlayStation Plus and a brand new Madden game, which games are like $70 now. I'd be looking at like $120 for a game I'm not going to enjoy.
I would say do not do it. This is a make or break year. EA needs to break, not make. So NFL could probably give other sports, not sports, but video game providers a chance to make a better game, a la 2K sports. Think about it, right? Here's my, and I was thinking about that because think about how wrestling is now, right? Like, for the longest time, I stopped watching wrestling. And why I stopped watching wrestling? I stopped watching wrestling because WCW and then ECW got eaten up, and and it was just WWF, and WWF product was trash because they were the only ones. There was.
Yeah, what do they say? Competition.
Yeah, competition's gone. It got monopolized, and then what happened now? AEW's here. And AEW is a major competitor for them. And now WWF is really trying to step their game up to bring fresher, younger talent, but trying to be respectful to the old talent as well. While AEW is trying to do it, and then you got other people. New Japan's really stepping in. The marketplace is driving competition and driving better results, and then you need that for video games. For video games, especially when it comes to Madden. Again, the same wash, rinse, repeat. Oh, we have a new feature. A feature that came out in 2002 or 2003 or back in 2000.
Yeah, you're basically buying a roster update every year.
Right. And if you're going to do that, then just offer us a free living service where the game costs $40 a year and all we are is updating that roster every year. I'd be done with that. I'd buy Madden if they said every year, bam, a kind of like Fortnite, right? The kids love Fortnite nowadays. So, like, Fortnite's a free game, and then they pay money for skins and stuff like that, whatever. Well, then let me just get a game that's lower price. I'm getting a roster update. And then if I want added features, I could pay for them and call it a day. Because you're already trying to gouge me already playing MUT. That's Ultimate Team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I couldn't get into that. It took too much work.
I got into it, and it cost a lot of money.
Never ending hole.
Never ending. Every week, new card. It's ridiculous.
Do you ever use the Roku channel?
A little bit.
There's a lot of
Not
good
much.
stuff on there. So I stumbled onto this last night. It's NFL Films presents NFL Draft, the pick is in. And they follow the Jaguars. Speaking of AEW, Tony Khan was featured on this. They follow the Jaguars, Cowboys, Colts, and I don't remember the other team. But they were in the draft room for all these teams while they just picked on. Well, they filmed the picks from the 2023 draft that just happened. It's really good. I recommend it. If the NFL film stuff is never bad. They built the league basically with their footage.
Pretty much. Okay. Yeah, check it out.
So how are you watching the NFL this year? Last year I was subscribed to Sling with NFL Red Zone. I currently do not have a Sling subscription or an NFL Plus subscription. I have DirecTV Stream because I'm watching the Orioles in their magical season, but I'm canceling that the second the Major League Baseball regular season ends, and then I'll make my football plans then. Until then, I'll get by on the antenna and Peacock.
DirecTV is offering a Red Zone package, I think, with their streaming like that. So I think they have something like that. So I might look from there. With Tom Brady gone out of Tampa now, we're going back to the darkness. So we'll see how that plays out for us. And Tampa might watch it bootleg or just man, I'll be fine. It'd be harder for me to watch the games, but I'll be paying attention.
And I got a segment for our pre-draft. Over the years, who hurt you?
I've had a lot of people hurt me. Okay, if it's a running back, you've hurt me. You've just hurt me, running backs. You really have. But if I have to buy the fire, pick somebody, it's because I broke one of my rules for this person because he did so well. I broke my rule, and because my rule is I never draft any other NFC South players because I'm a Buccaneers fan. I don't want to root for anybody else, and that's why I'm like I just don't. So you never see me try draft Julio, Roddy White, unless Drew Brees. Drew Brees was untouchable because he's just going to score points, and I had Drew Brees for good 5-6 years in a row. It's just he drafted Drew second round Drew Brees because he's guaranteed 45, 47 something, right? But every year I'm no Carolina Panthers people ever. I've never drafted one, right? But I broke the rule. I drafted Marquise Colston right after he had his great year, and I was like, man, yeah, I'm gonna get Marquise Colston. And then next year he flamed out, and next year after that he was gone. And I was like, are you kidding me? And then the year after I was like, oh, I'm gonna draft Larry Fitzgerald. This is great. After he had a good year, next year he was trash. I was like, great. I got Larry Fitzgerald the very first year he's on a decline. Thanks.
And on the side note, for the longest time, other than last year, Mike Evans, since he'd been drafted, I always drafted Mike Evans. And last year, I didn't draft him. I couldn't draft him because he got drafted before I had a chance to get around to him. Because I couldn't draft him early, you know what I mean? Because I knew the value. I stuck to the value instead of just always getting him. And I kind of dodged a bullet because he had kind of a down year, even though he hit 1,000. But his touchdowns, he had 4 touchdowns all last year. So he had kind of a down year. But that hurt me. So this year I'll be looking to try to bring apart the team again. Heard he's being drafted around round 7. People are predicting him. So I might have to draft high to get him a little bit. But
he'll go before that. Your team name the last few years was Stairway to Evans, and you had to change it last year because you didn't have Mike Evans. What are you going to do with your team name this year?
I don't know, because last year my team, I named them after DeAndre Swift. I said Swifty things. And DeAndre Swift was terrible for me last year because Jamal Williams vultured everything. Jamal Williams vultured me. It was like DeAndre Smith he had yards, but he had no touchdowns because Williams have 3 touchdowns. And I'm like, wait a minute. He'd have 80 yards rushing, but then no touchdowns.
Yeah, he definitely hurt you. I've decided I'm done changing my team name all the time. I'm right now my team name is Fresh Meat. That's going to be my forever team name. I like how a couple guys have had the same team name now for, over a decade. Freeman is Dead Money. We got the Tampa Bay Punishers Yeah. So fresh meat. The players get treated like cattle. Every year, I got new players coming in because we're in a redraft league. So fresh meat is my new forever team name.
I'm gonna think of something this year. I'll pick up something. Think of something neutral and keep it pushing.
So yeah, let's wrap this up. We're gonna.
Wait a minute. You never said who hurt you.
Oh, well, McCaffrey I mentioned earlier. He hurt me 2 years in a row. Speaking of Fitzgerald, once he was always safe, right? Until you drafted him.
Yes.
And he had like this 3-year stretch where he had like 700 yards. So it was like Larry's done, and I got him super late one year. I got him in like I don't even know what round, but it was 10th round or something. And the Cardinals had moved him to the slot that season. He just cleaned up down there. It bounced back. I think I won the league that year. Part of it. That's how you win. You get a first-round pick in like the 10th round.
That's that the year you beat me in there?
You were done in by a Kenyon Drake waiver claim that year.
Yeah. Sad
times. Kenyon Drake got dropped by somebody early, and I knew he was going to get traded at the trade deadline, and I'm pretty wishy-washy with my roster, but I made a commitment to myself, do not drop Kenyon Drake until after this trade deadline, and the Dolphins traded him to the Cardinals, and he ran for like a 60-yard touchdown in the championship game against you. But yeah, so we were going to wrap this up with one of us nominating a Fantasy Football Hall of Famer.
Okay, so the Fantasy Football Hall of Famer who is not an NFL Hall of Famer, okay? My nomination is Mr. Mike Alstott. He is big money, cash on the 1-yard line. Talking about a big white boy that could run the ball. That was him. He has the record for most touchdowns in a Pro Bowl game and Pro Bowls all time. You know what I mean? And he was actually a really good running back. You know what I mean? Just not Hall of Fame worthy. But in the Bucks, if you're a Buccaneer fan, Mike Alstott's like your running back Jesus.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2014.
NFL Hall of Fame?
The Indiana Hall of Fame.
Oh, get out of here, bud.
Yeah, Alstott. You're in good hands with Mike Alstott. Super Bowl champion, 3-time first-team All-Pro from 97 to 99, a second-team All-Pro in 96, a 6-time Pro Bowler from 97 to 2002, in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Ring of Honor, a consensus All-Big Ten player in 1995. Yeah, 58 career rushing touchdowns, 13 receiving touchdowns, over 7,000 career yards between rushing and receiving.
Yeah. And
welcome to the Fantasy Football Hall of Fame, Mike Alstott. Yeah,
that's a very short career, 58 touchdowns. All right, okay. That's like 10 touchdowns a year for running back. That's pretty good. Not bad.
Yep, so that'll wrap up our pilot episode. We'll be back next week to recap the draft. Full of people we don't know who heard us yet. But, yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
We appreciate you coming in, guys.